Our story begins. We are introduced with Wang, the protagonist of this story. A handsome and very intelligent guy with many suitors, and curiously, a pretty girlfriend named Saekyong, whom we will refer to as Zaochan. As he comes from a humble family, he must work very hard to earn money so he can buy things for his girlfriend on their dates. Let's say that the poor guy is a bit of a slob, however, he is excessively given to playing video games. After completing a rather shady game, he receives a message inviting him to get rewards in the post-apocalyptic world in exchange for the risk of dying in the real world. These rewards are basically everything he can take, meaning he could stop working, buy everything he wants for his girlfriend, a house to be a millionaire, and live the life of his dreams. Who would say no? Obviously, Wang accepts, and along with it some rules that must be followed appear. Keep in mind the following rules. If you die in the post-apocalyptic world, you die in the real world. You must survive for 7 days. You will not be able to disconnect before 37 days in the post-apocalyptic world, because 1 day in the post-apocalyptic world equals 1 day in the real world. So, you will not die from not eating or drinking anything from the real world. Furthermore, his body will be teleported, so nothing happens. He can only take non-living things to the real world, which means he cannot take animals or other humans. Lastly, remember that this world is without rules, in which you can be attacked and killed at any time. Wang, equipped with a backpack and a shovel, has 4 hours of time before disappearing for 24 hours. He decides to call his girlfriend, who answers him in a somewhat borderline and arrogant way. The truth is, she says that she has something to tell him, but Wang asks her to wait 24 hours for when he comes back. What he doesn't know is that his girlfriend is already with a boy who has more money than him, and with whom she is being unfaithful. A pity. At midnight, Wang is transported to the post-apocalyptic world with everything he was carrying. I would have gotten a baseball bat too, but never mind. He is not a hero or a zombie slayer. He simply has to try to survive. So he tries to draw up a series of base strategies, such as avoiding unnecessary fights, moving quietly, and moving forward at night. One realizes that something is following him, and he is worried that it is a human, so he runs to hide inside a building. Something jumps over him, and when he looks up, it seems to him to see 2 huge blue fish, but they are not really fish, but those of a waifu. This girl seems to be a murderer who demands all the food and water from the protagonist, if she will not kill him, but she thinks she has a chance against her and confronts her nonetheless. She is much stronger than him. When she finds herself between a rock and a hard place, she tells her to let him live, so that she can share canned food with her. This girl begins to drool when she hears him say canned food, and Huanka uses a taser to electrocute her. However, Wang decides to notice her. He only scolds her and takes the dagger from her, giving her a bottle of water and some food in exchange, which surprises the girl a lot. He hasn't seen food without expiration for a long time. It doesn't take more than a few minutes until we find other assailants, showing us that humans seem more dangerous than zombies in this world. A third assailant attacks one from behind. He defends himself and manages to injure this guy with his dagger, causing him to start bleeding. This seems to upset the other assailants since they say that the smell of blood will attract the zombies. Juan, who takes advantage of the fact that they are upset, runs and escapes the scene, although it ends in a dead end before they reach it again, introducing themselves as part of the tiger group. Just at that moment, our waifu of the new little fish appears behind them, willing to help Wang for having given her food. She easily destroys one of them and begins to give ninja pirouettes to take down the other 2. But one of these guys seems to have a head as hard as a wall, so she asks him for water in her dagger. This will be dance, and we see that she had some kind of ability that allows her to give lethal blows to her enemies at vital points, managing to kill this second object. After that, she tells Wang to follow her, that they will be safe now, that the blood will attract the zombies, and they could have problems. They flee until they reach this girl's house. Once there, she becomes alert again and demands that one gets rid of the taser. It seems that being electrocuted has affected him a lot. He accepts, and as a sign of good faith, he offers her food and tells her to help him survive for 7 days. If he does, she will give him all the food that is left over and will return soon to bring him more. She accepts and gives him a room. She also tells us her name, Shayu. We will call her Yu from now on. It's easier. One realizes that his room looks like rich aliens, so he starts looking and finds several jewels of great value in the drawers. With these jewels, he would get several tens of thousands of dollars, but they don't like to steal. And he asks Jo, whom he finds naked, by the way, to change in her room. Although this one seems to not care that he sees her that way. We initially imagined because he is an NPC in this game, but we never know if it becomes an NPC or a real game or not. She tells him to take the jewels that he doesn't care for. Also, they manage to open a safe that contains gold bars, and you fill his backpack literally. One has already achieved his goal to fill the backpack with gold. Now he only has to survive 7 days there. Juan asks the system where he will be transported the next time he enters this world. This answers him that in the same place where they found out. Knowing this, Wok decides to agree with Juvet to give him more food next time to see her in exchange for helping him survive and get more jewels. He also tells us that some walls have been built to defend the government and people of high status, and that many survivors try to get there to be safe. But they don't open their doors to everyone. So, they have to fight to survive. Right now, they hear a noise. It seems that the Tiger group is invading Yu's house, and they have stepped on a trap. They have come with one of their bosses who wants the girl alive. Joe, when he sees the number of enemies there, decides that they should escape. They find a hidden place, although there are quite a few zombies nearby, and one can't sleep well. So, he puts on music from his phone, which surprises Joel since he doesn't understand. Since he still has a battery, he lets her listen to music for a while, and she starts to cry, feeling nostalgic and remembering the good times of her past. Juan Albert promises her that next time he will bring her a cell phone and a few portable chargers so she can listen to music. Finally, they fall asleep together. The next day, he uses a map and shows it to Wang, explaining that there are 4 groups that divide said area. The one with the tiger was the one that attacked them. These are some nerds that took over a supermarket and have some weapons, but there are others such as sharks, the most dangerous, with more than 100 people being 4 or 3 or 4 times larger than the tiger group. The bear team would also follow with about 100 members, but with half the weapons of sharks, being somewhat less dangerous and lethal. And finally, there is the chick group, as I call it, although in truth they are eagles, being weaker than the tiger, being the weakest of all, and having about 40 people almost also without having any weapons. Wang gives all his food and drink to Yu and tells him that he has to leave since he is going to appear in his world. Only the latter does not tell him. She hugs him and asks him to go with him, but he refuses and tells her that it is not possible. After that, he leaves and he is teleported back to his world. Here, I make a small important building. Technically, we in the water have seen only 1 day, supposedly 7 have passed. Yes, I don't understand the logic, but technically, they have been entrenched in a house for 7 days, eating and resting without doing anything else. But nothing is ever explained. This is the first thing that one does in his world. Go and try to sell jewel like dirt and dust. He is almost rejected, but the manager of the place notices him, makes him come in, and offers him $8.5 million for a jewel of about 600. He reluctantly accepts $1,000 since he expected to get at least 10 million, 20% more. But with that, he is satisfied since he manages to sell him 10 of those gems, that is, about $5 million in bags in a little while. After that, he goes to a real estate agency where there was a meeting with his girlfriend, and there he finds her with the boy. She basically tells him that she needs someone who can support her and take care of her, and that it's time to face the reality. In reality, her new boyfriend intervenes and also tells him to leave and find another, and that they have already made their decision. One reacts by giving him a strong kick, but his now ex slaps him and tells him that he is garbage and to get out. They try to throw him out of the real estate agency anyway. He says that he still has no interest in houses so cheap that he will go to another real estate agency to buy a house, which catches the attention of the boss, and he asks him how much he is looking for the house. One answers that he is looking for at least 20 million, which is about $2 million. But Lee gets up bothering while these two tried to negotiate, wanting to hit Wang. But he defends himself by throwing a gold bar in his face and breaking several teeth. Finally, one buys an honest house for 30 million, sells everything he stole in the post-apocalyptic world, and wins a fortune of 1 billion gems. After giving money to his parents and his best friends for helping him through difficult times, he goes to see his uncle who was once a hunter, and he gets a couple of rifles and some anesthetics. He also buys a new mobile phone for Yu, and he prepares to return to his post-apocalyptic world. He transports himself and it rains. He is very happy to see her again. It also seems that she was injured since she went outside to check that one had been able to escape without being caught since she did not know that he had been teleported. This makes one shudder and hugs her, promising that he will protect her from now on. Juan gives Yu everything he has bought for her and explains the next move, as the only clan that has explosives is the one with the bear. The dynamite attracted from his world will blow up a building belonging to the Tiger Gang. They will believe that it's the bears because they're the only ones with explosives. So they'll attack each other, and you'll be able to weaken both gangs almost effortlessly that same night. They reach the highest floor, and there they find where the leader is hiding, and they manage to force the lock. Unfortunately, while they are in trouble, they have left an open window through which they had infiltrated, and zombies have begun to enter, drawing the attention of the guards. The guards wake up the leader, who reacts somewhat annoyed by the situation, and at that moment, the dynamite that one had placed explodes, destroying a large part of the supplies and resources of the tigers. They also manage to evade the guard and escape. But in the end, they are attacked by zombies. Yu is almost hit, but one kills his first zombie here since he was transported to this world. They manage to kill them all and escape from the Lost Tigers building, having accomplished their goal. After dinner, he uses the game system to see his abilities, realizing that he is equal to a normal human from the post-apocalyptic world. So he really doesn't give a stake in anything to unlock the activities tree. And to be able to become strong, you must pay 1,000 kilos of gold. Yes, a bloody outrage in millions of dollars, but in the end, you have to pay it in weight of gold and within this world. So all you have to do is get several of those ingots that he previously sold. After that, he returns to the living room and finds Yu drunk and half asleep, so he decides to carry her in his arms and lay her down on the bed. He can't help but notice her attractiveness and without her figure, but tries to stay cold. She decides to go take a shower. What she didn't know is that I was awake and she seemed to be waiting for him to touch her. Embarrassed by the latter, yes guys, it seems that something intense is going to start from now on. The next day, they leave looking for gold there, and he smells meat cooking and runs in that direction. They both hide and find there a guy who apparently was a former member of Lost Tigers and a current member of the Sharks who had also smelled the food, and asked those in the house to give them at least half. An ex-policeman lives there, a girl named Shaeyun. John from now on the ringleader threatens again, and what he gets is that from the home. They shoot and kill one of her teammates. June has been very fast attacking the Sharks, but it hasn't been a good idea since she has few bullets, so she's going to have to play very defensively. Luckily, Yu and One decide to support her from the top of a building, killing some of these members of the Sharks. When he finds himself outmatched, the leader of the Sharks asks for mercy, and to let them escape in exchange for not causing problems for these people again. Although he is obviously unhappy, he plans to return with more of his friends, so we already know that in the future, he will end up dead. After that, One enters the building where Officer June is and tells her that he wants to help them end the gangs. As these two unite and June also takes all her proteges with her, the next day, the three venture into Shark territory, approaching their base. There they eliminate a few guards. This enrages the Shark leader, who senses that they have, due to being oblivious to other plans, an outsider. So he plans to ally with the Eagles clan. But One was ahead of this and also infiltrated the Eagles base to set fire to things they had there, causing all the gangs to finally enter into a conflict that same night. June opens up to One and thanks her for helping her with everything. She also takes the opportunity to teach him how to shoot, which he was pretty bad at, and here they start to get a little closer. Over the next few days, a pitched battle breaks out in which the Sharks are quite destroyed. Taking advantage of this, Wang and the others infiltrate a base and threaten a guard so that he tells them where he hides the gold there. They find a vault with more than 40 tons, 40 times more than you need for the first system upgrade. Although the second one costs 30 tons, so it arrives just right for only 2 upgrades. The first one is to get as much space to load items, 1 backpack, a magic pocket, or something like that. The second is basically a jack book in which you pay 100 kilos of gold, several million for a full try-hard spin. What they created, this Manhwa with the porridge. One plays it and pays for the first spin. Although the first spin seems to get a frog and get a level 1 agility skill. That is, add 1 more to your agility, and that's it. The other shots are not very surprising either, more than a skill book that allows you to get a little stronger by killing zombies, and perhaps the most interesting, an ability called Palm of Fire. The battle continues advancing, and the Sharks begin to harass the Eagles. However, One and her girls show their strength. They use the Eagles to annihilate the Sharks, since we remember it is the most dangerous group of the 4. The leader of the Eagles realizes this and uses some speakers to thank Wang out loud, telling him that he does not know who he is but that he owes One and that he has his support in the future. With this, the Sharks lose and retire. The Eagles are weakened, as well as the Tigers and the Bears, so there will be much more tranquility in this post-apocalyptic world from now on. Wang takes advantage of the days before leaving to train by killing zombies and leveling up. Let's remember that he can only spend 7 days in the apocalyptic world, and he has about 4 left. After a banquet, they say goodbye to one on the last day, and he returns to his world again, ready to be here for a single day to return to the post-apocalyptic world again. Yes, he is a millionaire, but now his goal is to be doing things in the post-apocalyptic world. The end. So this is the story of I am carrying gold from the post-apocalyptic world. If you want to watch the rest of the chapters with me, stay connected with this channel. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new manga recaps.